incredible artist. It's been a great inspiration for my work.
Thank you.
I introduce to you Robert Knight.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I guess I'm here to talk about my artwork, which is out in the hall, which is from the experience I had as a combat artist in Vietnam back in 1966. I was chosen to be on the first team of artists, soldier artists, to go to Vietnam and record what was happening there, what the military was doing, and the civilian environment. And it was all created by the Office of Military History, and sponsored by them, I should say. And the work that we did is now housed permanently in through the Office of Military History, but in the National Army Museum. It's a new museum in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and it's a part of the historical records of that particular war. There were 5 of us that was chosen to go, 5 artists from all over the United States. We came together and traveled there together, and we were in Vietnam for actually 60 days, traveling all over from not North Vietnam, but from the north, Da Nang, to the southern tip of a place called Can Tho in the Delta. And we traveled by various forms of transportation, such as helicopters, planes, jeeps, foot by foot, and trucks. We're all over. We visited many of the soldiers in the field, and also a lot of the base camps. And I'll skip a little bit ahead. After being there the 2 months, doing sketches, taking photographs, that was our source of material to later go back to Hawaii at Schofield Barracks on Oahu to do our final artwork, which was, most of them were, paintings from using our sketches as reference material. So the program started, we were the first team to go over, and it started in 1966. Throughout the history of the Army, throughout the history of war, that there's always been artists involved from ancient times to the present. And the military collection that's in Fort Belvoir, they have a total of about 15,000 paintings, and they go back as far as 1800s in the Civil War. At that time, they were professional artists like Winslow Homer and Frederick Remington, and in World War I, they introduced more soldiers, active soldier artists. And in World War II, there were a lot of professional artists who went during World War II. A lot of them worked for magazines like Life magazine, and they did covers and things you might, have seen in the past. But they were commissioned by their companies to do this. And after World War II, the Army had defunded, decided that they couldn't appropriate the money to continue it. So there hadn't been any more artists sent to any of the wars until 1966, when we first went over. Since then, they've had artists document the wars through Desert Storm, Afghanistan, Iraq. Most of that, well, later on, a lot of them were staff soldiers, staffed artists, I should say. And some of them were, I'd say an equal amount of them were soldiers, active soldiers, painting. So,
how old were you, Bob?
How
old were you when
yes.
you did that piece?
I was 22 when I did that. I was actually 21 when I went to Vietnam.
Were you drafted?
Yes, I was drafted. I was drafted. It was not something I really wanted to do, be drafted, I should say. Going to Vietnam was a choice I made, but we had to be chosen. There was an all-Army contest, voluntary, but we had to submit artworks and slides of our work to be chosen for the program. And it was, they did an outreach to the entire Army and nationwide. And there were 5 of us that were chosen. One extra person joined up with us in Hawaii. He hadn't traveled with us in Vietnam, but we met him. Mr. Felix Sanchez was his name. He lived in Iowa. We had artists from all over the country: Connecticut, Iowa, Texas, California, and Colorado. New Jersey. Oh, I forgot about that. That's me.
Were you
Sure.
the first African American?
Yes, I was.
That's
I was the first, right? And I didn't realize that until later.
Maybe your wife?
She kind of reminded me. She held the mirror up. No.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yes. Yes.
Did you know about the artist program before you were drafted?
No, not at all.
So you were in?
Yeah, not until I was in. I was stationed in Maryland, First Army, Fort George G. Meade, and I was sitting. It was a summer. I was sitting in the office, typing letters and things, and it was so hot, no air conditioning at all, and boring. Typing letters on the old typewriters with the keys. And I remember sitting there typing and falling asleep, my fingers getting stuck between the keys. And my supervisors and things were sitting behind me, and I was hoping they didn't see that. So I didn't know about the program. When I was there at Fort Meade, I was working for a special services branch, and that included libraries, hobbyists. They had, sculpture, ceramics, and things like that, and entertainment branch. I was actually assigned to, I don't know why, but the entertainment branch. And they had like a traveling bus almost, and they'd go to different bases and put on a performance, a musical or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, the whole thing's like Alice in Wonderland. My head is spinning. But
Anybody else have
any questions?
Did you,
Yes.
did you get any injuries while over there?
No, I was lucky not to have, I don't know, no visible scars. Anyway, no injuries. But a few of the people on our team, we kind of at one point split up so we could cover more ground, and they were ambushed at one point, and luckily they all came out okay. I remember our plane being shot at. I didn't know it was being shot at until I got out of the plane and saw the bullet holes in the side of the plane. But each day it was like you never knew what was going to happen, and especially since we were going to many different places. So it was always kind of.
Do you remember the actual, do you remember when you were drawing the two women in the village? Do you remember anything about that day or anything about why you chose them or?
Okay. Not so much remembering about that day, but going over there to Vietnam, I went there with the idea I wanted to see what it was like for myself, what was going on over there. You know, we were getting all kinds of news from TV and the papers and so forth, what's happening. And I was not a big fan of war, but I said I wanted to see. I don't know, I was young and stupid enough to decide to go over and see for myself. And to answer your question about the two women, too, I found a connection kind of with the people there. And to me, it was a beautiful country. And unfortunately, it's being ravaged by war, and the people were, a lot of them were just trying to go about their business, living, and there were a lot of people, homeless people, they were, what do you call it, displaced, I said misplaced, displaced from their homes and farms and things. And I would see them living on the streets and living in, I saw an acetate over there.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know those techniques.
Okay.
You would have like two color, you have the ink color and the black.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how it printed out.
Yes. Well,
The red
The-
was printed.
well,
They would do
no.
a separation.
It was a technique that was used in the graphics field, but that picture was just one shot of it with the overlay over it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's the surface of that material is soft.
Like ruby lip.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. Yes, right.
No, but there was also color film, and I remember a technique that I was taught in school, where we would do a drawing with like a grease pencil,
Yes,
and then we would get colored film and cut the color film and fit, to put in solid areas. And the black, the grease pencil would
Yeah.
go through the film. It would be
Just you could take them apart and soak the tips and things.
I worked at a place that had an ultrasonic cleaner.
Yeah.
It was like a little
Oh,
tubby,
yeah.
but if you
Right.
plugged it in,
It
would vibrate.
vibrates. Right.
Yeah, it would vibrate all the dried ink
Yeah.
out.
I love that. Now, I see some of these things still in in the art stores, everything, the prices are going out of through the roof for things. You know, you could get, I think, a rapidograph pen. They can't sit too long with the ink in
You
it.
know, a lot of young people, they don't even bother with it. If they want to illustrate that, there's so many really good pens.
Yeah.
Like these
Oh,
little
yeah.
Muji pens or those fine point ones, I forget what they're called.
I know what you mean.
Really fine point.
Yes, yes. And they have sets too with the
Yeah.
different thicknesses. Yes, and the permanent ink.
Yeah, that's the thing. The ink has to be permanent and it has
Yes.
to be rich. It can't look.
In California, the Presidio base, just taken just before we got on a plane for Vietnam.
Was this also with the carpenter's pencil?
Yes, yes. It's
Why the carpenter's pencils? Because it was durable? It was strong?
I could get different things. I get wide or thin if I use the edge of it, so I could go back and forth. This just tells you. I don't expect you to read that.
A lot
But
to read about you.
some of these things are on the internet still. If you Google combat artists or the National Army Museum, this was from a show at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia.
Oh, was that the one that?
Yes, that you went to, right? And they had a beautiful show. There's the Montagnard people. This is one of the chiefs. They were interrogating, not meanly interrogating. They're asking questions about have they seen enemies.
Watercolor or gouache or what did you use?
This was no. I think I used no. This is a big. It was a painting. It's oils, believe it or not. It was very thin. I did use it very thin, but
You needed it to dry fast.
yes.
You
So
couldn't be carrying around thick paint.
well, this was done when I was in Hawaii after I left
So you had
Vietnam.
some time to.
Yeah, to set it aside, let it dry.
Wonderful.
Yeah, the civic action, giving clothes and medical equipment to the same people. They lived in the mountains.
You sharpen the pencil with a blade, or how did you do it? With a sanding stick or something?
I had a sanding stick, you know, and but sharpening. I think I had just a single-edged razor. These were the oil pastel, the carpenter's pencil. This was a base camp up in, was it Anke, a night convoy, getting bogged down and trying to transverse the muddy trails and roads and things. So.
Nothing but moonlight to go by.
Yes, right. Okay. These things are huge. They could pick up a whole truck or something in that area. Very heavy equipment and supplies and things. He's a chaplain giving a service in the field. And people, you know, the soldiers
Yeah,
are
to
praying.
me, this is finished. Some people might consider this, is this a sketch? You know, for something else, but it's all here.
Right. I agree. I like not finishing edges and things, and lets you imagine some of it.
Quick question for you.
Yes.
Prior to joining the Army, were you already illustrating?
No, I had just graduated from an art school in New Jersey. They gave me a month. When you're in college or school, they didn't bother you for the draft. Yeah, as soon as they snatched me up.
Gotcha. Wow.
And I thought, here I go for 2 years. I just studied art, and I thought I was going to lose everything I learned. But they used me in the Army, and even in basic training, I did some art.
So you got lucky then. They knew with your background that they
Yes.
would put you in that versus send you to the front.
Exactly. And another thing, when I was in basic training, I dislocated my shoulder, and so I didn't graduate with the class that was eight weeks, and I was held over, and I was reassigned. I'm not sure where I would have gone if I had not dislocated my arm. So it was a while. I started in the summer, and I finished that basic training in the winter with snow up to my knees. It was an experience.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I had, that's it. Just to say, I was in the Newark School of Fine and Industrial Arts. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and go ahead. Can you reach?
And
Yeah.
then, when did you go to Cooper Union? When you got out?
Oh, you went to Cooper.
Yeah, yes, I graduated from Cooper Union too.